All right, guys, I'm excited to have on our special guest today, my man, Josh Williams. This guy has been tearing up the company in just a few short months. Literally within 4 months, he's already built a $7 million agency, and it's quickly going up from there. So I'm excited to have on Josh Williams. How's it going today, man?
Going great. Thank you so much for having me on, by the way.
All right, man. Well, so tell us, let's kind of just jump in and let's talk a little bit about your background, maybe who introduced you to Family First Life, and then and we'll go in from there.
Absolutely. So, guys, I'm not new to the industry. I've been in insurance now for 7 years. So I've been with a few companies, about 3 actually. I got introduced to insurance when I was 18 years old. I played some college football, tore my ACL, and I knew I wanted to do business for myself, grabbed my insurance license, and boom, just hit the ground running. I originally started off with a company where I had to go door to door. There's no leads, nothing like that. Eventually worked my way to my last company where I was able to grow and start scaling a business. And while I was there, we had so many agents leave to come join FFL. And I'm like, what the heck is happening? What's going on with FFL? And why is everybody leaving us? And they actually created this thing. It was an IMO committee. And the point of this entire little group was for us to do research on FFL to figure out all the bad things about FFL and why we should not go there. And we could get that information over to our new agents as we kept building. And the craziest things is, like, I went out and did all the research looking for the flaws in FFL. And I was like, dude, I've got to go join this company. So I took off and I decided to go join FFL. I told nobody about it. At the time, I had an agency that I had built up. I mean, we had maybe 20 agents at the time. And I didn't tell anybody. I just tried it out myself. Hit the field and wrote 10K my first 2 days. And then I was like, hey, I've got to go save everybody. So I went back and, started, letting people know that I had left and went to FFL. So people started joining and we've just scaled and grown from there. And I'm here now. So, yeah.
Wow. So that backfired on them, huh? Hey, go find out all this stuff about us. And now you're here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time.
Love it, man. Love it. All right, cool. So you've been in the industry for a while. Obviously, you were at one of the companies that, we all talk about that, they don't have leads. I'm assuming they probably had low comp and stuff like that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what was like the big game changer for you? You came in here, you wrote 10K your first 2 days. Like, what did you notice right away why everyone had to be here?
First off, just leads. Between the combination of leads and high comp, that's the simplest thing. I think that any business you're in, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're just selling something, if you have a product or a service, if you don't have people to sell to, you're going to be broke, period. So here, the FFL, we had unlimited resources where I didn't have to beg someone for more. I didn't have to bait and switch. It was straight to the point. And if I wanted to increase my income, just buy more leads. So that was number one. Mm-hmm. And then the high comp is the same work that I was doing before. I would get for a $1,000 AP sale. I would get $320. Here, I get 75% of that up front. Right. So it's a big difference from the same work. It was just a no-brainer. Those two simple things were the reason why anybody should leave, outside of the culture and the VP and the bonuses and just so many different things. But okay. I would definitely say the leads in the high comp.
So leads in the comp, it sounds like you're making about double right away just by joining.
Man, you get a pay increase just by coming to a different company. Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Triple your income just by making a decision.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about production first, because a lot of the people on here, maybe it's their first time on a call. Maybe they're just getting started. They just got contracted. So first off, tell us what leads you're running, right? You're new to the business. What leads are you running, Josh?
Yeah, I kind of try to mix it up a little bit. I focus a lot on the instant leads and 1-month-old leads, just so I can get a mixture there. I kind of like the rebuttal of I already had someone take care of this for me. I've kind of gotten that down pretty good. So I run those two mixtures though. I ran a few mortgage protections here and there, but I try to focus mainly on what agents would run because I want to build a business. So I want to do whatever I can show them how to do in abundance, which is the CRM leads.
Got it. Okay. So you're running what, basically a big portion of our company's running. So let me take a step back though. Tell us a little bit about how much you've produced maybe this last month, the 2 months before, just to give people a perspective of what you're personally producing, obviously, and then we'll talk about the building side later.
Yeah, absolutely. So first month in, I did over 20K, second month, 30K, third month, 25, somewhere around there. And then this past month, July, I did 40,000. But I haven't like went in the field the entire month at all since I've been here. I've not been in the field for each month more than maybe 8 days max. I don't really go in the field that much.
Dude, that's wild. 8 days and you're writing 40K in a month? Jeez.
Yeah, I usually go to the field once or twice a week, just depending on what my goals are that month. But I don't go in the field a lot, but when I am in the field, like I hit it hard.
Okay. So talk to us about two things. Number one, talk to us about number of appointments. And then tell everybody what that rebuttal is that you say, hey, if someone says, I already got this taken care of, maybe they're calling an instant lead or a 1 month lead. What is it you're telling them? Share that with us. We'd love to learn.
Yeah. Well, when someone says that they've already got this taken care of, I don't do the approach as far as comparing pricing and saying, oh, you submit this in maybe because you want it. That's a great rebuttal. What I do is I try to turn it into a policy review. So whenever I make the call, if I'm calling, hey, John, blah, 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 they tell me, yeah, they actually already got this taken care of. Perfect. That's actually exactly why I'm calling. You should have received a policy packet by now. So what they have me do is once you purchase life insurance, they'll have me come out and review your policy with you, make sure you understand what you have, that there's no flaws in your policy as well. It takes about 10 minutes. Once we check that off, you'll be all done. And then I go book the appointment. I go over there and I'm doing a policy review. And no, you have to make sure you understand the importance behind that. I'm not going out with an intention to go and just randomly replace someone's policy. If I find a flaw in their policy, which 85% of the time, their annual premium jumps from 1,200 AP to 5,000 after 10 years. And I'm like, hey, dude, did you know this? Well, they didn't tell me that. No worries. We can get it fixed. Grab your driver's license. And I'm out of that house in 15 minutes. And it's like an automatic deal. So I'm going over there with an intention to review their policy with them.
Okay. So I hope you guys caught wind of that, right? Like, so what he's doing is he's talking about the path of least resistance, right? So a lot of times people are like, oh, trying to save them money. What if I can beat your price or what? People don't want to do that, right? And so it's brilliant, right? So he's saying, hey, no worries. My job is just to make sure you got everything you signed up for, basically. I just need to go out there and review it and we can close your file, right? And then boom, you go out there, you check it off, make sure they understand they know what they got. A lot of times, like you said, 80, 85%, they got something that we can do better with, and then you're replacing it. So do you go right into, hey, here's what I can do for you instead, and then just show them the difference and then apply for that right away?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. When I started doing that, I fell in love with the business too, because it was so simple and our products are amazing, so competitive. So when I go there, I'm having the same intro as far as building the credibility for myself. The first thing I'm going to do is sit down and show, hey, so they do require me just to show you my license. That's my license with the state of Kentucky or wherever you guys are at. So real quick, this won't take us too long. What they have me do is go over that packet. Did you get that out? I know I told you to have it ready. You have that? Okay, great.
Yeah, here you go.
And I'm going straight to that policy right then and there. And I'm just reviewing it. And then I'll circle some things. And then I just literally explain exactly what it is to them. I say, hey, ma'am, so what this here is you have you have a whole life policy, which is good. However, I don't know if they explain this to you. This right here, this graph, this shows your annual premium. What that means is that's the monthly payment multiplied by an entire year. So if I take this number and divide it by 12, that's how much you're paying per month. Now, if you follow this here, it goes from 1,200 AP and it goes up to 3,000, and then it goes up to 5,000. That means you're going to be paying a couple $100 for the same policy in a few years from now. Did they explain that to you? Oh, they didn't tell me that. Okay, well, it's not a big deal. That's why they sent me out here to do this. We can get it corrected for you. Go ahead and grab your driver's license for me. And then at that point, I'm just looking and comparing coverages. I'm always leading with Americo, great company, high rates, super competitive, great on approval process as well. So I'm usually rolling with Americo, and I'm looking to see that I can beat the coverage. First off, the coverage price will stay the same. I know that much, but sometimes I even lock them in for 10 or $20 higher because the premium is going to stay the same throughout the years. They'll be willing to, it makes sense logically to pay $10 or $20 more for something that won't change. So I get a few extra bucks out of the premium there and a few extra bucks to them in the face value.
Dude, that's money. And it's so simple too, because you're also, you really are going the extra step, right? Like you're actually servicing the customer, and the customer feels so much more comfortable doing business with you because you're actually looking out for them, right? Like, so it's not this whole, smoke show. It's like, hey, did you know this? Let me show. And it's in their paperwork. It's in the print. And so as soon as you open their eyes, they're like, oh my God, like what, wait, what? Mm-hmm. And so those are, I mean, I've done those. I have never done the approach you've ran like that, Josh, but I've come across policies where I've done the exact same thing, and those customers always buy. There's a no-brainer, right? But if you're doing that every single time, especially if you're running instance and 1 month and they say they got it. And I mean, I can imagine, guys, if you've ever had a client, let's ask the people. How about this, Josh? For everybody that's on right now, drop a 1 if you had a client that you called on an instant lead or a 1 month lead that have told you that they've gotten this already taken care of. You're going to see 1s flying in, right? And so now, guys, how do you approach it? Just do this. This is what you do. And you will write so much more business just taking the tips that Josh just said. You're not, because when you're trying to sell your way into a home after they've already got a policy, they don't want to deal with that again.
Yep.
They want to have the conversation one time. So if you're the advocate, hey, I just want to make sure you got it done right, you got everything you needed and you wanted, cool. They're going to be like, okay, cool. Take 5-10 minutes, have your policy out. I'll be there between 10 and 10:30. I'll be out the door real quick. Cool, man. That's brilliant. So talk to us a little bit about, all right, so you're running 8 days a month. Like that's not the norm. I mean, we all know that, right? So it's not the norm, but like how many appointments are you running on a day that you're actually in the field?
Yeah. So I just have certain rules for when I hit the field. When I hit the field, I refuse to go in the field for 4 appointments or 6 appointments. It just doesn't make sense to me because of what I want to do on the business side of things with recruiting and hiring and marketing and training. So when I hit the field, if I'm dialing on a Monday, I'm flooding Tuesday out, like completely packed out. Like this is today I dialed today. I've got 15 appointments tomorrow, right? So like I flood my entire Tuesday out. And you guys are probably thinking, how do you get to that many appointments? Well, I'm picking one county for one. I'm not picking multiple counties and driving back and forth. But on top of that, my presentation maybe takes me a good 30 minutes, if that, and I'm out of there and I have 20-30-minute drive time. And on top of that, I flood it out because I've been in the business long enough to know people aren't going to show up, and that's part of it. Last 2 weeks ago, I wrote 18,000 in one day. And when I did that, I had 12 appointments. And 6 no-showed me. 6, right? So I only had 6 more opportunities. When I had another agent call me and complain because they got no-showed and they had 6, but they got no-showed 5 times. I got more no-shows than you, but I had more appointments than you, right? So I flood out my entire day. That way I can make sure that I'm in the rhythm, I'm moving, I'm grooving. I prefer to call a client and say, hey, I'm overbooked today. It's not going to be able to happen. I've got to roll you over to tomorrow. Versus me getting no show. Like I want to be overbooked and never overlook myself. So I flood the day out. I completely flood it out. I usually have between 12 to 15 appointments every hour on the hour from 8 a.m. until usually 9, 10 at night. That way Wednesday comes around and sometimes I don't hit the field, or in this case, I do have about 5 appointments on the books for Wednesday. I have a total of 20 booked right now.
Wow. Okay. So every hour on the hour, 7 to 9 basically. And then you just know, you're expecting no-shows, obviously. Do you double book any?
If they're kind of iffy on the phones, a quick set, a few of them, then I will double book that hour. Or sometimes I'll just book it in a different 30-minute increment. So if I have, 11 a.m. that says quick set, I might put one at 10:30 or 11:30, but typically I have them every hour on the hour, never on the half hours, unless they're kind of iffy.
Now, you and I are just meeting. So where do you live? What market are you in?
Yeah, well, I live in Arizona, but I haven't been home in 3 months. Right now I'm in Florida. I just got back I'm from Kentucky. I moved from Kentucky to Arizona. I've been running the East Coast for the last 3 months now, doing lots of road trips, travel trips with big groups from the team. But I do live in Arizona.
Got it. Okay. So you're out there running the streets basically, right? And I mean, hey, it's paying off.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's true.
That's awesome, man. All right. All right, that's strong. So that's strong. So talk to us. Are there any things that you do outside of what you shared with us? Are there any other things that you do in the house that you think are maybe unique to what you do versus what, most of the people at FFL do, or any word tracks that you would share that's really helpful? And then let's start there. And then I have one other question for you.
Yeah, for sure. So I wrote a few things down that I could say on the sales side for sure. When I look at sales, I try to make it super simple and I try to make it super quick. Like I usually get into an appointment and get out within 25, 30 minutes. I don't have a full-fledged script that I'm sounding like a robot. Like my approach is find a problem or create a problem, solve it, and get out. And it's the same way with recruiting, and I'll share about that in a second. But when I'm in the home, like I read this book, it's called The Perfect Pitch. And in my brain, I think that if we have to have a lot of rebuttals and we have to do training on rebuttals, that's a byproduct of something in our presentation being off, right? Like we didn't say something the right way, and now the client wants to object because they're not on the same page with us. Mm-hmm. So for me, I try to do a lot of things up front that will just completely not let me have to have any problems on the back end, right? So some of the things I'm doing is the process in which I'm moving is I create credibility first. And then I go to explain the process as far as what I'm going to be doing. I find the why, then I close, and then I solidify the deal. So if I break them each down, starting off with credibility, the very first thing I'm doing there is I want to make sure I remove the two things that I get. There's only 3 objections I ever get. That's number 1 is, no, I don't trust you with either banking or social. That's one thing that we'll hear. I get I want to shop around, do research. That's 2. And the last thing is people say, I want to think about it, right? That's about all we can really get with what we do. And with the first stage of what I'm doing credibility wise, that's where I'm knocking out the entire trust factor and the entire thing about shopping around, right? Between 2 pieces of paper. One piece is my license. The other piece is this credibility sheet and then my words. But when I'm getting into that house, I'm going to say, all right, Julius, so let me start here. This is my license right here, signed by the state commissioner. They just require me to show that to you. That way, I am who I say I am. Now, what we're going to go over is super, super simple. The reason I'm here is you put that request in. I wanted to show you this here. These are all of the top companies in the state of Kentucky. They all have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They've all been around for over 100 years. There's hundreds of companies we can talk about today, but we're only going to talk about the ones that are reputable, that have no track record for actually paying their claims. So any small mom and pop shops or things we might see on a small commercial, we're not going to talk about that today. So what I'm telling you right now is do not ask me about the Colonial or some random thing on the internet that you saw for $10 or John.
Gosh, I want the $9.99 plan. What are you talking? You can't give me.
Yeah, don't talk to me about that one. So we're not bringing it up. We're only going to talk about these companies here today, right? So I crushed that right away though, and then I moved down. I explained to them, do you know the difference between? Well, if it's a mortgage protection, I'll do that, but I let them know what all we do. That way, they might ask me questions about, well, we have a mortgage, or I uncover more opportunities that way. But that's where I'm setting the credibility as far as these companies. That way, they're not telling me that, hey, I want to shop around. Well, yeah, that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. I'm telling them that up front, right? So between those two there, me showing my license and me explaining that, hey, we're only going to talk about the top reputable companies. Now, we can look at hundreds of them, but today we're going to focus on these ones. Makes sense, John and Joe? And you should probably know some of these here. I mean, you've seen Gerber, all the babies, and you've probably heard of Mutual of Omaha. I mean, they're a massive company, right? Yep. Right. Yep. So that's credibility. Right. And then once I get done doing credibility, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you exactly what to expect today, because I don't want you to be thrown off. I don't want you to I didn't know we're going to be doing all this today. And nope, I'm going to tell you right now. Right. So once I create credibility for myself, the next thing I'm doing is I'm explaining the process. Now, the way this works is very simple. Life insurance is only based on 2 things: your age and your health. Okay. So you can't just buy life insurance. You have to actually qualify for it. Okay, now I don't make the final decisions. I'll try my best to get you approved today, but all we can actually do is submit a request and see if we can get you approved. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking through each company to figure out who would be willing to even take you based on your medical records. And then we're also going to figure out who's going to give you the best rate. Okay, so we'll go through a few things here. I'm going to go through a sheet that's going to have some medical questions on that sheet. I'll ask you those questions. You'll just tell me yes or no. Now, like I said, unfortunately, we can't make any final decisions today. All we can do is submit an application and see if we can request approval. If they say yes, at that point, then you guys can have some time to think about it, or we can roll with that company. Great. If they say no, then unfortunately, we either can't have anything at all, or we might have to go looking through some different companies. But are you guys pretty healthy? Yeah. Okay, great. Boom. Right. So I explained to you exactly what to expect. Right. And what I want to do, especially when I have a jam-packed schedule, is I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to get to a point to where I find out that they don't have banking, or that they're just not a buyer. So I really try to identify those things up front. I either say this every time, or sometimes when I just feel it. It's a thing that I kind of fill out with people. But if I feel like you don't have a bank account and it's bad, but I kind of prejudge people and based on how they are and what they're living, and it's part of it. But if I feel that you're not a buyer or that you don't have a bank account, sometimes I'll kind of push it out there to let you know without making it so direct. And what I'll say is, I'll include this line here. Now, the way this works for the approval process for the application, they're going to be checking three things. Okay. Number one, we're going to put your social security number on file and have you sign a HIPAA form. What that will do is allow them to look at your medical records and make sure you're healthy. I believe you, but unfortunately, when we're talking about thousands of dollars, they will check your medical records. Okay. Number two thing they'll check is, make sure you have a valid driver's license. They'll be checking for your any criminal background. You're not on the probation or anything like that. Don't have a suspended license. All right. Which you should have your driver's license. You should know your social. And the last thing they'll check is to see that you have a valid bank account. So you have to have an active bank account that you can use that does not have anyone else's name on it but yours. You're not allowed to get insurance in someone else's name. So do you also have a valid bank account that you use with the routing account number? Okay, great. So as long as you have those three things, we can try my best to get you approved, Julius. But again, no guarantees today. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so you do that,
and that's it.
Okay.
That's the explain the process. The next thing I'm doing now through my presentation is I'm getting right to it, which is finding the why and creating a problem. Either they already have a problem, or sometimes you have to help create one for people. Right. But this is the most important part of the entire sales process, because if someone doesn't have a ditch to be dug, like, you can't sell them a shovel. It just doesn't make sense. Right. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out, why am I here? You put this in for some reason and I need to know why, or we're just not going to be able to do a deal. Right. If there is no problem, there can be no solution. So when I go through this process of finding this problem, I might say, if it's a happy agent or like a final expense or regardless of what it is, I'll ask you, now, Julius, for what reason did you fill the request out? Was this more so for your final expenses, or what was this for exactly? Well, I wanted to make sure that my kids wouldn't have to worry about burying me and coming out of pocket for that. Okay. So as of right now, Julius, who's responsible for taking care of your funeral? Like, if something happened to you today? Your daughter? Okay. Now, your daughter, is she local? Could she be here pretty quickly to help you out? No, she lives out in North Carolina. Okay. Does she work full time? Does she have kids of her own? Yeah. Okay. So I just want to make sure I'm on the same page. So, Julius, it sounds to me like the reason you put this request in today and the reason I'm here is because you've been kind of procrastinating a little bit with this here. And the last thing you want to happen is your daughter, who has her own responsibilities. She lives all the way in North Carolina. She has 3 kids that she's responsible for, and she has a full-time job, and you don't want her to have to take off her work, come all the way over here, abandon her responsibilities, and have to come up with $15,000 for your funeral. Is that kind of why you filled it out? Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, no problem. So what I'll try my best to get you approved, like I said, but again, I don't make the final decisions. And now I'm going into solving the problem, right? So
so let's say, all right, some of those, like when you get one like that, that's, for the most part that they're stating their why, how do you create a problem?
So I'm asking the same questions as far as who's responsible for that, and I'm going to take them through that same process, right? So if I ask you why did you fill this out, and you're kind of like, I don't know, I don't really need it, I don't really care. I'll push you back and try to say, well, who's responsible for the funeral? Who's responsible for this? And there's sometimes where I sit down with clients, guys, and they're like, well, I don't have any family, I don't have anything, I don't have this, I don't have that. And when I get those signals, I don't sit there and rebuttal. I get my butt up and say, if you're not ready to buy, like, I'm out. I'm going to my next appointments, which is why I have 15 appointments on my schedule and not 4. So I don't do a lot of debating with people. If I get an idea that you're not buying, I got to go, because a lot of people are buying, right? So I'll fight for you and I'll fight for your family, but I'm not going to fight more than you're going to be willing to fight for your own family. Yeah,
no, I think that's key, man, because I think a lot of times, especially when you're new, right, you think that every person that you're sitting with is going to be a sale, and you're trying to almost convince them that they need this, when if they're not sold that they need this, you're probably not going to convince them that they need it. And the other thing that I hope you guys are picking up on this, what Josh is doing, how is he creating the problem? He's not telling them the problem. He's asking questions. And he's asking questions to create the problem, right? Because now it incites doubt, and it incites like, oh crap, what is going to happen? I don't know what that's going to look like now. Right now. So now, Josh, what happens, right? You ask those questions. Now they open up, right?
Absolutely. They usually tell me exactly what I thought, and I reaffirm to them. That way I know that we're on the same page.
Yeah. So you're restating it, making sure, okay, now I know exactly why you're here. In case something happens here, you want to make sure your daughter doesn't have to take care of the burial costs. Got it. All right. My job is to help you out. Right. And then boom, you can actually transition. So that's a key thing, guys, especially in the beginning. A lot of times people are trying to push themselves onto people. Now if you're pushing onto someone, they're going to think you're a salesperson. If you're asking the right questions and you're almost conducting like an interview, they're giving you the answers to help them. But you got to be a good question asker. So guys, if you guys are getting value out of this, drop a fire emoji in the chat. If you're getting value out of what Josh is giving us here, he's pouring into you guys. This is good, guys. This is really, really good. All right. So now you find the problem, you got a why. How do you fix it?
And now I'm closing, right? So now I have this problem that I need to solve. It depends on age and health and how I identify which product I'm going with, of course, but no, let's just use a simple final expense. They're looking for a whole life to get rid of some things. So if I'm rolling with a whole life, what I would do is I would max out whatever program I'm rolling with first, which is America, typically like 99% of the time, unless I know they can't qualify. I'm rolling with America and I'm maxing it out at $30,000, regardless of age. I don't care if you're 85 and it's going to be crazy expensive and if you're on a fixed income, I'm still maxing it out, because I'm going to show you 3 programs. I'm going to show you, a gold, silver, bronze, or however you guys want to name it. Doesn't really matter, but I'm showing you 3 levels of what solves your problem. And what I want to do is I want to kind of guide you into the middle option, honestly. And then I want to down close you into the basic program at the very base, if you can't roll with the second option. Because what I want to do is I want to show you something that's just crazy high, and that adds a lot of value, but it's high in price to where you're like, dude, I can't do that. And when you say that, I want to say, yeah, I honestly, if I were you, Julius, I wouldn't go with that first option there. I mean, if you want to, you can, but it's going to be a lot more than what you need. Right. So what I'm doing now is I'm becoming their friend. I'm on their side. They know I'm not here for a check. Like, I want to put you into the best program possible to solve your problem without taking too much of your monthly income for you. So I'm maxing out that program, and then I'm going to tell you don't do it. And sometimes they say, well, I want to do that one. Great, let's do it. Right. But I'm usually telling them, hey, we're not doing this one here. Now, this option right here, this one's going to be great for you guys. I would recommend this here. It will take care of the entire funeral or cremation, whichever you decide to roll with. And then it also will leave that extra money behind to your daughter, like you were talking about. So that would be the best option. Plus, It'll lock that rate in. And the coolest thing about these programs is it does have that cash value. That way, if there's an emergency in the future, you could be able to access that as well. Now, this option here, this is the bare minimum basic program. Not a lot of people go with that unless they're kind of like on a very, very tight budget. Now, Julius, if you could even qualify for any of these, would you want to leave your family behind with $30,000, $20,000, or $15,000? And I don't ask them, would you want to pay this, or this? I give them the value, which is the death benefit to their family. Do you want to leave behind this amount, or this amount? And that's how I'm closing them down. And they'll say, well, I mean, I think I would go with that one. Yeah, that's what I would say too, because you can always add to it later on. So let's see if we can get you qualified for that one. Go ahead and grab your driver's license for me, Julius.
Boom, done. Easy as that, guys.
So,
go ahead.
I was going to say, so, and by the way, through this presentation, some of you guys might be thinking, okay, well, Josh set them up in the very beginning saying that, no, we only can submit an application or we can't commit to anything. And now he's going through this application with these people. Well, what happens with chargebacks? What happens if they're going to say, I don't want to keep this? I thought I was just applying. Are they going to be committed to this program? Because pretty much you've told them at this point that they're just trying to see if they can get approved or not, right? So I'm moving these people through this yes to the very end. And then before I submit them, remember, America is like amazing. It tells us right then and there, may qualify. Like that's like 99% of the time good. So I already know my brand information that I have, I'm not giving it to them. It's for me, not for them. So what I'm going to say now is, okay, Julius, so I've been doing this for quite some time now. Based on your application, I think you have a really, really high chance of being able to get approved. I don't see any reason, unless you're not telling me something that's on your record, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to get through here. So I take my job very, very serious, and I love what I do. It does not cost you anything at all to submit an application to get approved, but it does cost the company money to put you through underwriting and to do all their background checks. So before I submit this, I want to know, if we get approved, are you actually serious about protecting your family today? Because I'm not going to submit this unless I have your permission. So do I have your permission to submit this? Now I made the sale. Like that's where I'm pushing and close hard on the sale. When they, yeah, I'm serious about it. You've done a great job. Thank you so much, Josh. Okay, I'll go ahead and submit this for you guys. And boom, then I submit, and I already know they're approved. And then pretty much right then and there, I just act like I'm waiting for a second. And I tell them, so one thing's about to happen. One of three things will happen in a second, guys. Number one, it'll pop up and tell me instantly approved. Congratulations. And we're all set. Number two, it'll say you're declined, which we'll have to keep shopping around. And number three, it could ask us for more time to review your files. And I already see that it says may qualify. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, we're waiting. I'm filling out my credibility sheet, writing my name and number, all my stuff, circling their company. And I'm like, oh, dude, congratulations, you guys qualify. High five, high five. And it's a celebration. They're protected. They're locked in. If you guys need anything, make sure you call me. You guys can call the company if you want. You might be on hold for 30 minutes. You call me, I will call you right back if I'm in the home. But you always guys can call me for any emergencies. And more importantly, since this is for your daughter, if something happens to you, make sure she does have my contact saved in her phone. Do you guys have any questions on what we went over today?
Simple. That's it. So you tell them in the home that they're approved.
I tell them right then and there if they're approved. At the end, it says this application will be approved once submitted. I'll tell them right then and there if they're approved.
Awesome, man. I think I still use kind of the approach Grady told me. I don't tell them right there in the home. I elongate the sales process and I call them back in a few days. But it's really whatever you want to do and however you want to do it. And obviously it's working for Josh. I know others that are doing it that way. So there's no wrong way to do it, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Well, that was fire. So appreciate you sharing that. So let's talk a little bit about the agency building real quick, and we'll get everybody off the call. I know we're it's Monday night. Everybody's been booking appointments. So talk to us. Obviously you've built a massive agency in a few short months. So what did your team do this past month in July?
549,000, almost 550.
550. How many agents you already have?
Well, the number was 39, but there's been times where we've had 49 writers, just under 50, but this month it was 39.
39. Okay. So 39 agents already writing business. So obviously it sounds like you're traveling. I see like you're posting in Slack, like you're running alongside with people. So for the people that are on here, maybe they're just starting, they're about to start or what have you. What are some things that you would share with them, or what do you share with your team to get them started quickly? Because, building a $500,000 a month, $550,000 a month agency in a matter of 4 months is nothing to sneeze at. That means you're doing a lot of things right. So share with us, like, what are you telling your new agents? How are you getting them started so quick? How do you get them writing this much?
Absolutely. Well, as far as getting everything started, I think FFL has done an amazing job with their systems and trainings. I mean, the FFL Bootcamp is, this automated training platform that we can plug people in and really go. That's all I used when I got started. But one thing I do focus on with brand new agents is, and some of them are different. It depends on the type of person that we're talking about. But for majority of people, I try to cut their risk in half. I try to really limit their exposure, how much money they're spending. A lot of them don't have upfront capital to spend. So I have people team up, partner up. We do lots of group travel trips. I mean, we just came back from Kentucky with 6 people. I'm out right now in Florida with 6 more people. Like, I'm getting people moving and grooving. So when you're a brand new agent, we have this guy, Orlando Martinez, 20-year-old guy, Naeem Abdul Allah, dude just came in from a previous company. Both were in a financial bind when they first got started. They both had a 30% off discount on leads, and they both have $500 to spend. I said, dude, both of you guys put your money together, use your 30% discount code, buy all those leads. You guys both dial the heck out of them together, run your appointments together, split, because they're on a travel trip. You're going to split your hotel room together. You're going to split your car rental together. And it cut all of their expenses in half. And they went out and they wrote $18K in 2 weeks. They both made $9K, but they both spent like $700 per week, between $500 on the $500 for their hotel, and they spent $100 each on the car rental, and they split the leads. They were all in for maybe $1,400, and they both deposited $8,000 or $9,000 the first 2 weeks with us. So just getting people moving and grooving that way. But the main thing too is I was with those guys. Like, I was with them. We were in a group together, right? So if you're building the business, there's certain real rules that I have for my business, and one of those rules are that in the last 3 months, I have made 0 insurance sales without someone watching me. I refuse to sell insurance without someone watching me. It does not make any sense if I'm building a business to not have someone watching what I'm doing. If I'm going to do it, they need to be seeing me do it, right? So I constantly take people in the field, because if you're a brand new agent and you watch me, you're going to be like, wow, so simple, because I'm a very simple person. I make a very short script, very straight to the point, very direct, and I'm out. So I know I can take a brand new agent from 0 to 20K. And even if I take them from 0 to 10, that's okay. And I always round robin with my agents. So there's agents that have done 20K in a month. And I say, hey, no, let's go on a road trip together. We're going to take 6 people out there on this day. You and I are booking together, and we're running the field together on Tuesday. And what I'm doing is moving them from 20K a month to 30K a month, right? Because everyone can grow. It doesn't matter which level you're on with your production. Everyone can learn something new. And all it really is their work ethic. So when I get people together and you have a squad around you, and like today we're in this hotel and we've got people every corner hammering the phones. It's like, dude, we're all in. And when you're not dialing, that's weird. Like, dude, you're a weirdo. We're all going hard and you're not working. What's going on with you? And it's like when you get someone tell you to screw off, we all look and laugh at each other like, it's fun. But when you're in your home, in your closet, like in your room, sitting there getting cussed out, it's like, dude, I hate this thing. Like, I hate this business. So we stay around great energy, great vibes. We're always on trips together. And again, I just think of ways to make sure we limit exposure. When I take a group of 6 people, there's always new agents. There's always new agents there, because the new agents have what? Completed boot camp. They get a 30% discount. So when I have a group of 8 people, 10 people, even if you've been in the business already for 2, 3, 4 months, you're still benefiting from that 30% discount, because I order all the leads in one big pile and use that new agent's 30% discount off. There's not been a single time that I've been here where I've had to pay full price for leads. It's always been because, hey, Josh, I know if I want to get leads on discount, I've got to be recruiting. I can use work spots. I can use all these great things. But the reality is I need new agents with me to grow my business. And if they come along with the 30% discount. And if I don't have a 30% discount, that tells me, Josh, what the heck are you doing? You're not recruiting anybody. You're not getting people through contracting. If there's nobody to take new in the field with me, I know I have a problem, which is the step before, which is recruiting. I'm not recruiting. So we've got people in these huddles. We're doing dial sessions. We're doing lots of role play the night before. And then we just hit the phones hard. That's it. We're buying lots of leads for a low amount of price.
Got it. So you're limiting the risk. Mm-hmm. There's less expenditure for the new agent. And then they're all splitting the business, I assume. And are they running together in groups?
They run together, not the entire time, only when they're brand new and they're getting rolling. When they have $500, that's it. They'll partner with someone and they'll use each other's lack of finances to get each other up. Right. So they'll partner together for that. And they'll do that they'll dial together on Monday and they'll run Tuesday and Wednesday together. And they might be like, okay, let's try the rest of this week. And then after this week, both of you guys are going elsewhere. But what I do is I'm constantly recruiting. And I know that when people come into an organization, when people come into a business, they want somewhere that they can not just grow. I mean, they can't just sell and make money, but everyone wants to grow. Everyone wants to be in management. Everyone wants to be a boss, but they might not be the best at recruiting. So what I do to drive production and to help them produce more and help the agents get trained and take less off my plate is when I bring in a new agent and I take somebody and I teach them how to do something. When I get done training you these 3-4 days that we're out here, the second I'm done, I've already recruited someone else. And I'm going to tell you, Orlando, you've been crushing it this week, dude. So now what I want you to do is I want you to go partner up with Jim over here. He's brand new. If you do 10K this week, I'm putting him with you. Right. And this guy's going through testing right now or contracting right now. So Orlando's busting his butt to make sure he's maintaining 20K, 15K, whatever. And he's teaching this guy how to go out and work. And they're, again, cutting the risk, but they're willing to do it because he's building passive income by training someone. And I don't have to do the work. I don't have to train someone now. I can go focus on my leaders and getting them to the next level. So I do a really good job of delegating, I would say.
So you train 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, and then you have them train someone else, pair them up. Now you got a buddy system, so you have more people training each other rather than it just being all on your shoulders.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant, bro. That's brilliant. So, and then I'm assuming they're all flying into whatever location you guys identify, whatever state. And then when you're picking a state, are you just making sure there's enough leads for everybody?
Absolutely. So we never pre-book anything. I never know where I'm going. I'd have no idea where I'm going on Thursday, but I'm going somewhere with a group of at least 6 people. So they only buy a one-way ticket. They never buy a round trip. We don't know how long we're going there. We don't know. We're going there to meet a certain goal. And then until it's met, we're going to stay on this road because you've got to complete training. Or else if you don't want to complete training, that's fine. But I'm not going to have you training somebody else on how to do something that you've never done before. So if you don't want to be in management, if you don't want to complete the MIT program, which I call the management and training program, if you don't want to graduate that, like, dude, sorry, I can't help you. So they catch a one-way flight. And what I do is I look at the map, and anywhere where I see a massive amount of leads, it's like, cool. And the rule of thumb is really, I just need about 150 leads. We'll give each group 150. So 75, 75. And for example, I'm in Tampa, Florida right now, but we're staying in Tampa. But I have one group working in Polk, which is only 45 minutes away to the east. Then I have a group working in St. Pete, which is 20 minutes away. I'm here in Tampa. So we're not all in the same county, but we're in the same area. It's a 45-minute drive. Wake up early, get over there, be there all day. But where the training really happens is that when we're dialing together, like that's what's creating the movement. That's what's creating everything, because the sales process is the easy part. Like easy. It's, hey, do I have 10 appointments today? Do I have 12 appointments today? So where we really are exploding is that we're getting people in a room, and I'm doing a full out like round robin, you go, I go, you go, I go, you go, or you two go, now you two go. And we're just hammering each other the night before. Like we'll stay up, we'll arrive somewhere on Sunday night, and at from 8 p.m. till midnight, dude, we're going to do booking all night long until this is beat into your head. We're working on not interested. We're working on the whole thing as far as already got this taken care of. And we're working on pretty much that's it. That's it. Or why do you have to come over? We beat those things into our heads, and the next day we're on the phones dialing. That's it.
Okay, that's money. And then, so like, who are you running with? You got 2-3 groups. Do you run with, like, who are you running with, and how do you split it up? Just for your time.
So I focus on the most talented person. I've looked for the leader in the group, and I work with them first. So I'll pick someone who's super talented leader. I need your help. I'm recruiting way too many people. Can you step up for me? And they're never going to say no. They're never going to say, no, I don't want passive income. No, I don't want to make over. Like, it's not going to happen. Right. So when I took Erica Walker out in the field this week, we went out, spent $633 on leads, turned it into $6,200. Her brain was like, dude, what the heck? I'm like all in for this thing, Josh. Like, what can I do? How can I serve? Like, how can I be a part of this? Like, how do we explode this thing? Okay, well, I have 3 new women that just came through, like already licensed. Do you think you can hit a road trip with them? Absolutely. And it's that duplication factor that's she's moving out. She's doing it. She's feeling confident. She's got the pay stub. She got the proof. And what I'm doing is I use my time to hit the field with somebody, and I split the commission with Erica. And I did that because I was actually paying for her excitement. Like I ran most of the appointments. Like I let her present once. I wanted her to show her how to do it. And she's already done many presentations herself, but I didn't need to tell her what she's doing wrong. I wanted to just show her how to do it the right way. So I ran most of the appointments, did most of the work, and still gave her the commission. And what I decided to do was buy her excitement pretty much, because now she's a brand new agent. She's excited. She just turned $600 to $6,000. There's never a time in her entire career here where she's going to be more excited than she is right now for what just happened. She's brand new. So with that excitement, she's already sent in, I don't know how many recruits, posting like a maniac all on social media, and she's ready to work because that happened, right? So people can only like go out and achieve as far as they believe. So sometimes you got to get people moving, because what we do is not normal. When someone looks at someone doing 140,000 in a month, 120,000 like Caitlin just did, that's not normal. And they compare themselves and they're like, I don't know if I can do that. She's crazy, intense rock star, when the reality is she's been here for 3 months. And I think the last time I talked to her, she didn't even know what the heck whole life and term is. Like she could barely tell the difference. She just makes a lot of calls, right? So it's just getting people moving.
That's solid, dude. That's solid. Well, dude, thank you so much for pouring into us. Guys, if you got an ounce of value from Josh today, which I think you got probably more than an ounce, but if you got any value from Josh today, drop an EVP in the chat. Let's show the man some love. He took time out of his evening. He's on the East Coast right now. It's 11 o'clock over there. He's up helping us. That's how selfless this man is. So, Josh, man, hey, thank you so much, bro. Like I know you and I haven't had an opportunity to really meet and get to know one another, but I look forward to meeting you. I look forward to spending some time picking your brain some more. And look, man, if there's something that I can do to repay you, please don't hesitate. If anything I can do, you know my number, and I'll be there for you. So thank you so much for that. There was 1 or 2 questions I think that I saw. Let me just see if there's anything.
Yeah, anything you guys need, I'm good. So as many questions as you guys have, let's knock them out. One thing Sarah said, which state is that? I guess you're in Florida right now, so I'm assuming that's the answer there. Yep.
There was another question I saw, I think from Sean earlier. How many people push back? How much pushback do you get after you go through all that? I'm assuming that was after you talk about the payment.
Up front in the very beginning or at the end? Closing.
In the beginning, when you're prejudging someone, if you will, about, hey, do you have a banking routing on the front end? How much pushback?
Very rare. Because I don't ask them, do you have banking information? I couple it in with those other questions as far as, hey, these are the 3 steps. This is the criteria. They're going to check your social to make sure, you're going to sign the HIPAA form, link to your social. right? I'm telling them, hey, you have to have a driver's license for no criminal background. And then I'm adding in there the banking. So it's coupled in with those other things that kind of makes it not so like in your face, which, now they hear all three of those things and they're super receptive and it's done. I very rarely get any pushback, but you can't ask it as far as like, oh, you're signing up for something today. Like, don't do it that way.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Those are the only questions I saw. Any other last questions, you guys? If you have one, drop it. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up for this evening. Josh, man, like I said, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your knowledge. And no reason why. I mean, I see exactly why your team is exploding the way it is. There was one question that was just dropped from Andrew Macklin. Where do you put them three things in place?
Yeah, Andrew. So that would be in the very beginning. I don't always add it to my presentations unless I feel the need. And that's what I meant as far as, reading your environment and the people and whatnot. But if I feel that you don't have a bank account or that you're super standoffish, maybe you're in a $1 million house. That's fine. I know you have a bank account, but the problem is sometimes people are like super just, I don't want to give any personal information. I don't want to, if I feel that up front, then I go ahead and handle it right away. And I tell you now, the way this works is very simple. I don't make the final decisions. They do. And the way they do that is by doing an application and putting you through what's called underwriting. They'll look through your medical records and some other things. They make their decision based on three things. Number one, they will check your medical records for making sure that your application aligns with what you actually said in your medical records. Number two, they'll actually check to make sure that your driver's license is valid, not suspended, and that you're not currently on probation or have any criminal charges against you recently. And then lastly, they will check your bank account to make sure you have a valid bank account. So you have to have a voided check or know your routing account number. They want to make sure that you have an active bank account in your name and not someone else's. Awesome. And that's where I added in there.
Awesome. That's money. And guys, don't do that on every appointment. You only want to do that, like you said, in certain instances, right? So when
it's like, they're kind of feeling weird, let me go ahead and just handle it up front because they'll tell me to get out or I know I can advance.
Yeah. And sometimes you guys will see, someone that's sitting with their arms crossed, like, what's this cost? What are we doing? Right? Like, come on, like you get that vibe when you've been through enough appointments to know who's open and who's standoffish. And so sometimes that's a good way to just let's cut to the chase. We're either doing this or we're not. If we're not, I'm out the door. So, absolutely. All right, guys. Hey, let's wrap this call up. Josh, again, thanks so much. Couldn't thank you enough. Guys, let's go out there. Let's have a big week. Let's set another record and let's tear it up. Let's take FFL to the moon.
Let's go.
Take care, you guys. Thanks, Josh.